Wednesday Addams is the show's protagonist. Despite her age, the tiny girl displays little emotions and has an odd fascination with death. She is also known for wearing black and white gothic attire, which everyone finds unusual in the opening scene. Wednesday enters her high school with a strange expression on her face. Inside her locker, she discovers her brother Pugsley chained with an apple in his hand, and she shoves him out. Wednesday suddenly experiences a vision in which she sees who tormented her brother. We learn here that she is not your typical child. Wednesday has the capacity to see someone's past as well as their future simply by touching them. She walks into the swimming room with 2 bags full of after she discovers that a group of bullies from the swim squad is Piranhas, then casually unleashes the bloodthirsty piranhas in the pool as the bullies swim for their lives. Wednesday expresses her horror that no one picks on her brother except her. Go to the next scene. We meet Wednesday's parents, Morticia and Gomes. The two are fed up with their daughter's antics and have decided to send her to the elite Nevermore Academy. It turns out that all students at this academy have magical talents, and they are taught how to handle them. Morticia and Gomes are also graduates of the same academy, implying that they too have superpower. Meanwhile, a hiker sets out on his own through the woods near the Nevermore Academy. However, an unknown beast attacks him and kills him after only a few minutes. Later, the disfigured body is discovered by the local sheriff, who begins surveying the area. Remarkably, we discover that this grisly murder isn't the first of its sort. There have been other similar events recently. Following, Wednesday arrives at the academy and meets Principal Larissa Weems, who runs Nevermore flawlessly. She introduces her to her roommate Enid, a werewolf who is the exact opposite of Wednesday in every way. Imagine, Enid is a down-to-earth girl with brightly colored decor on her side of the room, whereas Wednesday is obsessed with all things black and goth. Later, Enid gives Wednesday a grand tour of the academy, pointing out the main school groupings: fangs, furs, stoners, and scales. Vampires with fang, furs, or werewolves? Stoners or potheads. Gorgons with snakes on their heads and scales, or sirens with the capacity to control people. And it also shows her the most popular girl in school, Bianca Barclay, a stunning siren, and her ex-boyfriend, Xavier Thorpe, a dying artist who can turn his designs into reality. Meanwhile, as the Addams family drives away in their car, Gomes releases Thing, a severed living hand that is charged with keeping an eye on their daughter. Wednesday attends fencing class the next day, where she is paired against the formidable Bianca. After some back and forth, the girls decide to remove their masks and fight until someone draws blood. Soon after, a violent combat ensues, with each of them matching each other's stride for stride. But Bianca ultimately triumphs when she slashes a little cut on Wednesday's face. Later, after being patched up, Wednesday exits the infirmary. She was nearly crushed to death by a falling stone gargoyle. Fortunately, the death artist Xavier arrives just in time and moves her out of the way just after Wednesday. She returns to her room, but she believes that someone is watching her. As a result, she investigates the room and eventually finds the hand Thing. Recognizing that it's her parents who are doing Wednesday, threatens the hand to be loyal to her or she will lock him in a drawer. Terrified, home, make a promise to be faithful. She is required to attend treatment sessions as a result of Wednesday's parent prank. Principal Larissa drives her to her treatment session in Jericho, a little hamlet outside of Nevermore. She visits with her therapist but doesn't talk about anything. Wednesday, on the other hand, has a different plan. She excuses herself to use the restroom and flees via the window. On one side, she unintentionally runs into a man. Suddenly, she experiences a vision in which she observes the man's death. Terrified, Wednesday visits a local coffee establishment. There she meets Tyler, the sheriff's son, and a barista. Tyler's espresso machine is having mechanical issues. The instructions are bizarrely in Italian, but happily Wednesday can read Italian. She effortlessly fixes the device and requests a ride to the nearest bus stop, but not before Tyler can. Suddenly, 3 thugs dressed as pilgrims arrive at the store and ton her. Wednesday attempts to ignore them, but when she can't take it anymore, she fights back and easily slaps them down. After a while, Principal Larissa arrives at the business with the sheriff and is enraged by the destruction. She scolds Wednesday before driving her out from town. They pass a horrific vehicle collision on their way back to the academy. The victim is the same man Wednesday saw in her vision earlier that night. At the dorm balcony, she performs a mournful melody on her cello. It's a full moon and numerous werewolves can be heard howling in the distance. Enid, a werewolf herself, reveals that she will not join them because she cannot change. Meanwhile, Thing walks into Tyler's room and asks him to call Wednesday. Despite his fear, Tyler agrees, and the two begin video chatting Wednesday. Tyler agrees to meet her at the harvest fair the next day, believing that it will be enjoyable. In actuality, she only wants to get away from the institution. While visiting the fair, we witness Larissa keeping a close eye on Wednesday. Despite this, the goth youngster manages to catch up with Tyler. The two are about to flee when Wednesday runs into one of her classmates, Rowan. He instantly flees into the woods, and since Wednesday has touched him, she has a vision. Rowan was viciously mauled to death by someone who was afraid. She changes her mind and runs after him to tell him the news. but before she can say anything, Rowan uses his telekinesis talent to secure her far up in a tree. He then discloses that his mother, a powerful senior, foresaw Wednesday destroying the Nevermore Academy 25 years ago. As a result, Rowan believes that he must kill her before anything horrible may happen. He then begins telekinetically choking, at least by her telekinetic food first, but suddenly a giant monster erupts in tears. Rowan splits apart and vanishes into thin air. Wednesday stands over his disfigured body, looking at the alleged drawing of his mother. Soon after, police officers, led by the sheriff, started searching for Rowan's, but we are unable to locate it as anticipated. The sheriff does not trust Wednesday's statement of a monster attacking Rowan and believes it was a Nevermore pupil. She notices that her roommate Enid is excessively involved with the image then shifts to Rowan, who has arrived at the railway station with something close behind. After taking in his surrounding, he sneaks in the restroom and disguises himself as an elderly guy. Unfortunately, Thing loses track of him and misses this change. Later, the old guy adopts the name Larissa. This shows that she is a shapeshifter, and for some reason, she is covering up Rowan's death. There are no other possibilities. Wednesday goes into the woods to seek for evidence of Rowan's murder. Tyler, who is stalking his father, is with her. She eventually finds Ron's glasses and gets a vision when she picks them up. In her vision, she sees a purple book from which Rowan quickly obtained the drawing. Wednesday confronts her class teacher about the book, and the latter explains that it belongs to an old student group called the Nightshades. Nonetheless, society has a lengthy history. Wednesday after school, we disbanded. Sneaks into Rowan's room to look for the book. She discovers a mask beneath his bed, but before she can go, Xavier appears. He turns out to be Rowan's roommate. Wednesday hastily hides behind the bed, just as Bianca enters to see her ex. She overhears their talk and discovers that Bianca intends to crush Enid in the upcoming boat riding competition. As a result, as soon as she comes to her, Wednesday decides to assist Enid by entering the competition, so that they may take Bianca down the next day. Wednesday, Anita, to prepare for the competition. Because there are no restrictions, everything is fair game, which Bianca is taking advantage of. The game consists of 4 teams rowing their boats to and from a destination. Whoever is the first to cross the finish line without getting knocked out in the lake is proclaimed the winner. As the competition begins, Bianca hints at one of her friends who is planning to damage the other boats. The companion, who turns out to be a mermaid, dives into the lake and wrecks one of the boats, putting the team out. Fortunately, Wednesday and Enid are prepared, and with the help of things, they manage to trap the mermaid. During the competition, though, Wednesday has a different vision. This time, she sees a blonde-haired version of him, and that version tells her she is the key. Confused, Wednesday awakens to discover Bianca's team leading the race and refusing to give up. She and Enid decide to play nasty. They utilize Bianca's dirty tricks against her and eventually win the competition. For the first time in 4 decades, a non-iron team won the prestigious championship. Later, Principal Larissa congratulates the victorious squad and presents Zed with the pop-up trophy. Wednesday, on the other hand, is overwhelmed by the attention and seeks refuge with Edgar Allan Poe, a former student of the Nevermore Academy. Then, she notices a symbol beneath the stone book he's clutching. It's the same symbol that's etched in the picture Rowan had given her before he was mauled to death. Wednesday rapidly solves a series of riddles engraved in the book and discovers a hint that is snapped twice. As she snaps twice, a secret corridor opens up, revealing a hidden room. This portal would not be hidden if this academy had a beat poetry group. Wednesday successfully locates Rowan's book, from which he tore the picture. She stuffs the book into her backpack, but before she can go any further, someone throws a black stack over her. After the bag is removed, she is encircled by Bianca, Xavier, and a few other Nightshades club members. Although the gang had previously been disbanded, Principal Larissa covertly resurrected it. Xavier invites Wednesday to join their gang, but she rejects and goes away. In the following scene, Principal Larissa announces the annual outreach day, where the Nevermore pupils will have to mix with regular people, often known as normies, by working alongside them at their firm. When they arrive in town, Wednesday informs Xavier that his roommate may have been murdered. Despite the fact that Rowan was only evicted on Wednesday, the latter does not believe he is dead. Drew is Rowan's mother. Xavier examines it closely and discovers that the man in the photo is Joseph, the founder of Jericho. After a while, Wednesday decides to volunteer in the Pilgrim World, which houses Jericho's history. Eugene, a little child she met at the beekeeping club, is there. The two quickly begin talking and observing their surroundings. Miss Arlene, the Pilgrim World's carer, soon approaches the students. She offers them a tour and tells them about some of Joseph Crackstone's favorite artifacts. Wednesday inquires further about the relics and discovers that they include original farm implements, crockery, and even the family chamber pot. Hugh. She wants to work there but can't because it's being refurbished. Instead, they're all going to work at the Yield Fudgy, distributing fudge and cakes to local tourists. Later, Wednesday, with Eugene's help, slips inside the Crackstone family chamber and discovers a painting of the old meeting house, which features the girl from her vision. Soon after, she also finds the book that the girl was carrying. When Wednesday realizes that the pages are blank, she assumes it is a forgery. Arlene, the caretaker, enters and catches her. Wednesday asks about the original book, and Arlene reluctantly discloses that it was taken. Tyler and Wednesday reconnected in the coffee shop a month later. Tyler admits that what remains of the first meeting house is out in the woods when the latter inquires about Joseph Crackstone. It's basically a ruin, and meth junkies use it as a crash pad right away. Wednesday and Thing venture into the woods in search of Joseph Crackstone's home. They ultimately discover it and come across a homeless man, but the creature chokes him and scares him away. What the hell happened? Suddenly, Wednesday's experience is a vision. This time she travels, we see the blonde girl she met 400 years ago. In the earlier vision, there are locals encircling the girl, whom they refer to as the devil's offspring. Joseph Crackstone emerges from the crowd and addresses her as BuIIed Addams. He accuses her of witchcraft and sentences her to death in a barn full of other accused people, including herself. In turn, BuIIed accuses them of stealing their property, slaying the innocent, and depriving them of their peaceful soul. Joseph, enraged, stares at her for a few moments before setting fire to the barn. BuIIed makes an attempt to release your mother, but her efforts are futile. Finally, when all hope is lost, she escapes through a trap door. Meanwhile, Wednesday is observing everything with them in the barn. BuIIed quickly approaches her and declares that Joseph would not stop his crusade until he has slain them all. Wednesday awakens from her long vision and explains all to Thing. I suppose we discovered someone who doesn't mind if you choke on something. Then, they notice the same beast that killed Rowan creeping behind them. Wednesday chases it down in the rain but can't catch up. As a result, she follows the tracks, which curiously begin to morph into a human. This indicates that the monster is actually a human, right? Then she goes into Xavier and tells him what she saw. He wants to look at the tracks, but the rain has washed them away. The following day, everyone gathers in the town center for the unveiling of a new statue honoring Joseph Crackstone. Wednesday performs an instrumental version of Fleetwood Mac's Don't Stop with the Jericho Marching Band while the mayor and Larissa are there. When everything goes as planned on Wednesday, calamity ensues. Orders ignites the statue, while others flee. Wednesday's eyes glitter with wrath as she hastily plays the cello. Afterwards, Principal Larissa lashes out at Wednesday, assuming that she is to blame for the event. But the adolescent denies having done anything and instead confronts Larissa for refusing to face the bloody racist truth upon which Jericho was created. Hell, one night, the homeless man from earlier is assaulted by the monster, and his camera begins recording the scene. The sheriff and his team arrive at the forest ruins moments later and discover the homeless man dead. They locate footage on his camera that could disclose the identity of the perpetrator. After developing the photographs, the sheriff examines the killer's face, a monster formed of nightmares. That's it for this recap. Don't forget to subscribe to the Film Insider for more such amazing content. And also don't forget to like this video to make our day.